Boy, it's tough to find the. That was closer.
It's higher. It's ow, 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 ow.
Yeah.
It's higher. I know it in my brain. I can't. Anyway, welcome to the watching show.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, time to talk about ropes. Night came down on the camp while I searched the paddles and pottered around with the ropes. It's gonna be weird with her there on the island with us, unless I go by myself, which would be dumb. One boat was actually missing. Okay, so today is your lucky day, bitch. You get to do several killer exercises that will build up your biceps, triceps, and other arm muscles. Why is he acting like that? I said sarcastically.
Are you serious?
Alisa cast a fearful glance at me. Well, perhaps that was a little too rough, even for her. All right, I won't make you row, of course. That hardly sounded confident. Swinging the paddles appeared to be much harder this time. Well, that's not surprising, considering that today I must have already filled an annual rowing quota. I stopped in the middle of the... So they just redrew her on there this time.
Yep.
The camp was covered by night. A trivial and ordinary night. It was one of those nights, it's jazzy, when the dark sky, stars, and crescent moon don't make you feel anything special. The chirping crickets and twittering birds sound like they are doing dull routine job rather than performing an otherwise exciting nocturne.
Nocturne.
I was staring into the darkness, trying to make out the shadowy island. How did you get to know her? Alisa shivered a little.
We grew up together.
She answered slowly after some hesitation, and ended up in the same pioneer camp.
No. We did.
No, we did not.
Yeah.
All these questions, mysteries, and fears that had been so well hidden so far suddenly spawned in my head. Damn, I could just throw her out of the boat and drown her here right now.
Oh my gosh.
So hot. I can demand answers. Although it could be dangerous unless I'm sure I know what I'm doing. But still, I thought that at this time I was playing with the white pieces so I could make the first move and not just parry the blows of the opponent. So, what kind of camp is this? Dude, Alisa stared at me blankly. Where are we? Why am I here? Cotton Eye Joe!
You know.
She kept silent. Answer me! I shouted.
Hey, what's wrong with you?
Fair question.
Yep, that's fair.
Question.
If you want me to apologize to Lena, I will.
That's when I realized how stupid I was acting, to say the least. She could simply be uninvolved in all that stuff. And what's more, one can't lie that convincingly. Alisa's fearful expression was yet another reason to believe her. Sorry. That was all I was able to say at that moment. Yet I wanted to keep my advantage. The last few meters were really tough. Exhausted, I got out of the boat and lay on the cold ground. Alisa stood nearby staring at me. I thought she was about to goad me or utter some barbed witticism. Witticism, is that a real word? But since she remained silent, I assumed she was still shocked or something. Even though it was rather dark here, it would be easier to hide my old flat than on this tiny island. Furthermore, Lena must have already heard us as we were crossing the river, so by now it's already too late to ask Alisa any more questions, even though I still had some. Listen.
Witticism, a witty remark.
Nice. I like
it's like
that
criticism
word.
and witty combined.
Criticism.
Witticism.
I looked at her but saw nothing. It was dark night and I didn't have a cat's eyes. Well, when we find Lena, you're going to tell her you never wanted to hurt her feelings and everything that happened in the morning was nothing but a misunderstanding, okay? My voice didn't sounded as confident as it did a couple of minutes ago, but confident enough. Although Alisa said nothing, it was clear by the look on her face that she agreed. I stood up and we went off to find Lena. Her boat was tied to a snag on the far side of the island. That's very clever of her. Tying a boat so it doesn't float away.
In a place where you can't see.
One wouldn't see the boat.
Do you see the one blue star? Oh, no, there's two. Okay, never mind. There's more blue stars. I saw one big blue star and I was like, why is it just one?
I see, yeah.
But there's a few more.
I mumbled. Well, that means she's somewhere in the trees. Let's find her. Ooh, ah. I headed to the grove, but Alisa stood still. What? I thought we discussed everything already. Is she like murdered and hanging organs from the trees? I'd be so happy.
It's not that. It's just that. It's dark in there.
Oh, no. I hate to strain my eyes to make out her face. The grove is smaller. Oh, the grove!
Stop making out with my face. But it's dark.
I couldn't make out her face. Stop trying to make out my face. But it's dark.
It's dark. What else do I make out with?
The grove is smaller than my grandmother's daisy garden. What is there to be afraid of? Alisa didn't answer. If you want to know what I'm thinking, I would gladly just leave you here. I never know what trick you're up to.
Well,
she came very close to me.
Let's go like this.
She took my hand. Wow, they both look pained. I hadn't expected this outcome. My
Her
cheeks
eyes are
turned,
freaking huge.
especially this one. This one's like almost twice the size of that one. It's doing that thing where like you
Yeah.
pointed out Lena, and her mouth is in the wrong spot. Like the more I look at it, it's starting to get weird, like you did with the Lena face. Anyway, my cheeks turned red and hot. My breath was taken away, and I could barely say anything. The whole situation didn't favor conversation, which was probably for the best, since I doubt I would be able to say anything smart. Slowly, we headed into the grove. In a couple of moments, I regained some control of myself. Come on, there's really nothing to be afraid of. We came here during the day, gathering some strawberries. No big deal. Just a normal birch grove. It's really nice here during the day. I added after a short pause. Alyssa didn't look at me. She was staring somewhere into the distance. Well, it's up to you after all. A few moments later, she pointed somewhere in front of us.
There she is.
I peered into the darkness, but I could barely see anything.
Aw.
No, stop it. Don't
She's
care.
crying.
So it's a facade, split personality, bipolar, lying.
Not Mo. We discovered that's not the case. She just was upset.
She hates her, and she doubly hates her for being naked
Okay,
in front
okay.
of me at one point.
So-
and now she's butthurt for no
real,
good reason.
real question. Which one of these two do you prefer?
Personality wise,
Or just like in general?
in
I don't know.
general, like on a piece of paper is how I would
Sure.
put it objectively. Alyssa.
Okay.
Now, why? What's the
I don't know.
English?
I don't know.
really? Okay.
I'm just curious. I didn't know if you had a
If
predetermined.
I had a bias, yeah, I said
Yeah,
When we came closer, we saw Lena sitting beside a tree. She was crying. Why have you come here? She asked tearfully. And you? She looked at Alyssa but didn't finish the sentence. That bitch. That moment, Alyssa released my hand. Well, you see,
I just wanted to apologize for being somewhat harsh and rude.
you could like emphasize for being somewhat harsh
Yeah.
and rude, like just half-ass. Alyssa interrupted me. Her voice had regained that usual arrogance of hers. Maybe it's because she didn't want to look weak in front of Len. What a perfect apology. Not walking the walk, are you? How clever you to insist that I'm doing a bad thing and then do that same thing yourself, bitch! Lena switched to shouting uncontrollably.
You got it all wrong.
I get what I'm saying. You see, girls, there's plenty enough to go around. You're arguing again, and I seem to be somehow involved in all that, but I don't understand a thing. Explain it to him, Lena said to Alyssa with a grin. Is this the bipolar thing?
There's nothing to explain.
Well, maybe you will let me have a try then.
Whatever.
Her eyes went from the side to up, so that's new.
Yeah.
She crossed her arms over her chest and turned away. Well,
But
then,
only in
Samuel.
such a way that parked her boobs higher.
As you should. She blamed me for pursuing you. For a moment, there was a complete silence. The music stopped. Lena didn't look like explaining any further. And as for me, I stood still, trying to assemble the scattered pieces of the puzzle into a whole. What do you mean? Exactly what I said.
It's not like that. That's not what I meant.
Interrupted Alyssa. Of course, you've always been like this. Lena burst into tears again. Wait, how come? So Lena likes me. And you, what about you? You're trying to convince me that it's all wrong while you're holding his hand. What? So Alyssa likes me too? Oh, come on. Alyssa actually liking someone? That can't be happening.
It's just that it was dark in here and
That's so much like you. Always so arrogant. Always trying to control us. But when it comes to yourself... Alyssa didn't answer. I really felt like I had to say something to diffuse the situation. Hey, wait. Perhaps we just got it all wrong.
this has nothing to do with you.
It kind of freaking does. Alyssa's voice was oddly distant. Judging by the conversation, this has everything to do with me. Yes, it does. Ask her what she thinks of you. Why she told me not to go after you. I don't think Lena was actually going after me.
I'm telling you once again,
We heard enough of your story already. Yeah. Lena shot up and ran away to the darkness. Monkey into the trees. I stood nailed to the spot, not sure what to do next. If I followed Lena now, what would I say when I found her? After all, I don't even understand what this is all about. My cluelessness and silly attempts to console her would only upset her more. Guess we better let her be alone for some time. That didn't sound very confident.
whatever.
Without another word, Alyssa headed back to the boat. Alrighty then. The whole way across the river to the pier was a hell of a trip. I had to step every 10 or 20 meters to take a break. Alisa was staring at the river and didn't pay any attention to me and all my hard work. Well, this seems to be the first situation here at the camp that is completely beyond my comprehension.
Even though literally I complained about that the whole time I'm here, that I couldn't comprehend everything about this camp.
Hey,
but this is the first time that I really couldn't
have
comprehend
I mentioned that I can't comprehend this? I wasn't this confused even during the... Yeah, you were. After all, if you look closer, there's nothing strange here at all. Lena is very shy, and perhaps even in reverse, she's human and can't completely avoid normal human interactions, considering
developments.
Her action fits the situation quite well. Even if I don't get the source of the quarrel, it's clear as day that the girls would not behave like that if they didn't have a good reason. And as things were standing, I was that reason. And that's the strangest part of the whole situation. Hey, I'm sorry I went that way. If only I had overheard your conversation. Seems like I was feeling a pathological need to excuse myself.
It's not your fault at all,
she said absent-mindedly.
It's just that you appeared. It's just that you appeared in the right place at the right time and restarted a mechanism that it's just still for a long time.
I don't quite get it.
Of course you don't, because you're fucking retarded idiot. And actually, you shouldn't right now. You'll get it later.
She cast an intense glance at me. Damn it! Why does this always happen to me?
It's such a problem.
It's 2 girls, and then it always happens. Both at school and college. Trouble seems to have chosen me as its primary target. College. At college. Someone blocked the classroom's door with a mop. I got a written. There was a fight. All things considered, I must have started it. Failed an exam? Well, of course, that's my fault, and the teacher who hates me has nothing to do with it. Even my parents always seem to prefer blaming me rather than unfavorable circumstances, a third party's involvement, or the decrees of the province. At some point, I even started to believe that I somehow do attract trouble. Remember Murphy's Law? In my case, it was like, if something nasty is gonna happen, it's gonna happen to me. For that reason, I always try to stay out of any trouble where I could become the whipping boy. Well, judging by today, I'm not really good at it.
It seems like you've got an aura of some sort. You do attract attention.
Surprised, I looked at Alisa. She was smiling. Looks like she can read my mind. Trouble, mostly.
Who knows?
She said dreamily and stared at the river.
It's a wonderful night, isn't it?
No. Just like any other one, if you ask me. I felt used up.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just an ordinary night. Nothing special. The best moment to make our most admirable camp leader really happy.
That whole sentence doesn't sound like her. I'm not saying it means anything. It just doesn't fit.
She has to know that her favorite pioneer is a nasty pervert who enjoys peeking at naked girls.
She's back. Something snapped inside of me again. I jumped to the nearest buoy. You aren't serious, are you?
Why? Of course I'm serious.
She didn't look like she was joking at all. Can I use this button? No. Okay, I guess I keep clicking. Well, suit yourself, but do you really think this is the best time to do that?
Aren't you supposed to row?
I realized that our boat was still drifting in the river. Wait! Don't dodge my question.
Let's get back to the camp. I'll have a moment to think it over.
You think to spend an entire night in a boat wasn't something I would aspire to. So I had to apply myself to the paddles. We barely made it to the pier. I was exhausted both because of the rowing and because of Alisa's intent to tell Olga Dmitrievna about the morning's incident. If I know our camp leader, her reaction would be quite predictable. So you're actually gonna visit Olga Dmitrievna now, are you?
Why not?
She gave me her most roguish smile. It's night after all. She must be sleeping already.
Who knows? She might well be awake.
Well, come on. You know full well it was a coincidence. A simple misunderstanding triggered by Ulyana.
No, I don't.
She flung her arms up and headed to the camp.
Teleports
Flapping noise. She flew her arms up and went to the camp.
Led by her boomerang.
Oh, right. Boomerang propellers. Yeah. I gathered all my remaining strength, jumped up, and followed her. At first, I considered grabbing her arm, but then realized it might not be such a good idea after thinking that happened. Hold on! I trudged unapologetically along to her.
Along next to her.
Thank you. Let's talk this over.
Is there anything to discuss?
We silently walked along each other for some time. At least she walked slowly so that I had no trouble keeping pace with her and her short, stubby legs. So come on, dude. Hey, is there anything I can do to convince you not to tell Dmitrievna? What do you think it's going to take to convince her to not?
A firm handshake.
I hope so now. I hope so.
Not sure, but well, there is one thing.
We came to the square. So what is it?
Well, stop chasing Lena, for instance.
What? Oh, okay, she's doubling down. For God's sake, what makes her think I'm chasing Lena? I started to lose my temper. Why are you making up such nonsense? You started that quarrel in the forest because of you, we had to go to the island, and here we go again. Enough is enough. Actually, it's your fault, dude. It was your idea to go to the island.
Yep.
I'm not chasing her. Whoa, her eyes became like lasers. Alisa stood still, bright moonshine liquor lighting up her face, which showed evident signs of resentment and displeasure.
The electric guitar singing in the background told me that it was about to get intense and western.
About to go down.
Like, I don't see how you look at her.
Like I don't see how you look at her. How do I look at her?
Like that.
Like what? Whoa.
You know.
She shifted her gaze but remained standing still. Hey, stop seeing everyone through your twisted imagination. If you can't stop making up nonsense stories, then at least keep them to yourself. Don't make others suffer because of you and your stories. I don't care if you pick on me, but now you got Lena involved. I really lost my temper for good, but Alisa didn't answer. We sank into an unexpected silence that was only broken by Alisa's spare sobs. From bad to worse, now you are crying. Have you all gotten mad here? I clasped my hands in despair. Bitch. I could understand why Lena was crying, but seeing Alisa crying is unthinkable to say the least. I can't even see her reasoning. At any other time, I would definitely be shocked, but at this moment, I'm just too tired for that. Of course, my mind was absolutely blank. To be precise, it was when he says my mind was blank, that's the writer going, I don't know. To be precise, it was so heavy and full of blankness, so that not even a single dude chose to go there. I've read that before.
It was blank, but it was full. Stupid.
I think we've had that dialogue before. If I would compare my brain to... Yes, we have... Oh, dang it. We have read that dialogue before. Do you recognize this dialogue? I absolutely recognize it. So here we're using it again for this timeline. Alisa kept silently. She stopped crying. If you really think it's so serious, go ahead and tell everyone to Olga everything to Olga Dmitrievna. I hope it makes you feel better.
Okay, I won't do it.
She said quietly and turned to me. Her tears were all gone, but her face seemed to express absolute sorrow at the world.
I'm just feeling hurt.
Did I ask how you were feeling? What hurt you? I asked her tiredly.
It's always like that. She gets all the attention and pushes me aside.
I had difficulty understanding what she was talking about and decided to play along. Hopefully she'd finally leave me alone. That's not true. You do draw attention and people don't overlook you. I don't. I raised my eyes and looked at her. Where were his eyes before? Her facial expression was a mixture of amazement and expectation.
You have eyes?
Wow, I would be amazed too. Whoa, you didn't have eyes for as long as I've known you. And then, wow, you do. See?
So you...
That's a creepy picture, but whatever.
Oh, wow, it is. Could you...
All of a sudden, her voice became so tender that I flinched and cringed. Liz's face turned red and hid her eyes.
So, you really think that I'm as good as her?
Well, I didn't say that. That's from Kung Fu, Panda. I wanted to say something like, even better, but I stopped myself. Yeah, you can't give her positive reinforcement. Yes, I do. It seems like she didn't understand that I said it absolutely insincerely. Why?
All right, time to sleep.
I bored her with my honesty. Alisa suddenly yelled cheerfully. Now she was acting more like herself again.
See you tomorrow.
She waved her hand and evaporated. Disapparated. I sighed in relief. Well, it was over for today. Now let's talk about how tired he is. Yep.
Fast forward.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think you're right. Good call. Nope. What did Alisa mean? And Lena, it's becoming totally unclear what's going on with the team and me. We got such a some sort of vortex. We started to swirl furious power, but what's going to happen next? And where I'll be thrown then? Cotton Eye Joe. Sleep. Day 6.
Should be.
Man, we got two more days.
Yeah. We did it right.
Man.
There is Alisa.
Do you want to guess pointlessly or no? We don't have to. I just think it'd be a fun little game while we're waiting. Like, where are they going to bone?
I don't know if they will. We'll see.
Oh, that's a good point. Wouldn't that be something? I woke up early when Olga Dmitrievna was still asleep, so I stretched up and sat in the bed. I felt surprisingly okay, although I should have slept through the day after what happened the night before. Quietly, so as to not wake up the camp leader, I took the bag with my washing up stuff and went outside. I forgot to look at the clock, but it seemed like 6 or 7 in the morning. Holy shit, that's early for you. The camp was asleep. The grass was shaking off the night dew. A light fog hung above the ground, and the sun was just beginning to break through the treetops. Not warm at all yet, like the fluorescent lamp of the house across from me. I took a deep breath of the tasty cold air and thought that even a night owl like me could enjoy waking up this early sometimes. The streets of the camp were empty, of course. The water here has always been cold.
It's still not letting you skip?
Nope.
Really?
So just so you know, the only way the only way I've been able to skip is by clicking this leaf here.
Right.
But normally you can hit enter to do the next bit of dialogue, but that won't fast forward or skip. You have to click that, and then if you can fast forward, then
I've actually observed that. I just was curious.
okay. I took way too long to say it. I'm struggling with my mouth. I'm tired. My mouth is tired. Finishing with my hygiene, I decided to walk around the camp a bit. All good to meet you. Everyone is asleep. Breakfasts not for a while yet, so there's nothing to do. I came to the square and looked at Ganda. That guy doesn't care if his. Oh my gosh, dude. I smiled at my successful joke and headed to the boat shed. As I walked, I hummed some song, absolutely sure that I was the only one awake here. Maybe we should run into Uliana or something. To my great surprise, I saw someone sitting at the pier, hanging her feet in the water. Oh, well, okay.
Oh, she's all sad.
Alisa. Nah. I came closer and stopped, but not sure what to say. Then she suddenly turned around and stared at me.
Been standing here long?
No.
Then why aren't you asleep?
Why aren't you? She turned back and stared at the river again. Looks like I'm not the only one in a good mood today. Is that sarcasm? At least she wasn't being sassy again. Can't say.
Can't sleep.
I see.
About yesterday, you get everything right.
What exactly? Oh, what exactly?
Oh, for God's sake.
My answer didn't seem to go down well. All right, I did. Yeah, I lied.
All right, good.
She suddenly looked straight in the eye and smiled.
In that case, I have plans for you tonight.
May I ask what they are?
You don't need to know.
Well, since I'm a part of them,
You'll know when it's time.
can you give me a hint at least?
Nope.
She got up and walked toward me. A bit scared, I cleared the way.
Don't do anything stupid.
Alisa said, moving from the boat shed. I wonder what she meant. And what are those plans? I had no wish to become a part of some terrorist act against a monument or anything. Besides, I was still haunted by yesterday's talk with Lena on the island. Dude, why is it forcing me to give a shit about Lena? I care more about Miku in this playthrough, in my opinion, because I'm treating her like so much shit. And I hadn't even seen her. So, all right.
Right.
She is probably still angry, and I never managed to explain everything to her. Although I don't even know what I would say if I had the chance. I felt guilty about everything that had happened, but I couldn't figure out exactly what I was guilty of. The camp was starting to wake up. Right, forgot how early it is. Breakfast was at least an hour away, but I had no desire to get back to the camp leader's cabin, so I decided to wait by the canteen. At least I'd be the first one for once. I sat on the steps and watched the sun rising. Sometimes it's great to just watch a new day come. I was overwhelmed with complete peace and tranquility. There were no thoughts to tear up my brain as they usually do. I simply bathed in the warm rays of the heaven star. In any other place and in circumstance, I could probably say I was happy. Good morning, bitch! You're so early! I looked up and saw Lena standing in front of me. She was smiling. That's suspicious. You too! All of the last night's events flashed before my eyes. Listen, if this is about yesterday, please don't. She interrupted me sharply. I don't know what came over me. It was all just forget it. She stared at me. Lena seemed much more confident than usual. If only it was all that simple. There's nothing complicated about this. Don't ask questions. She sat down next to me, so close I felt a bit awkward, but made no attempt to move away from her. It's like when we did the Lena playthrough. It made this love triangle, kind of a story drama bit. Now it's the other girl in that triangle, but it must remain a triangle, I guess. So Lena's going to be involved in the whole thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Button. Push the button. Sometimes I have disputes with the... Oh, where's my mouse? There it goes. Okay, great. Yeah, I realized. I see. But in this case, it happened because of me. Who knows? She answered, lost in thought. So that's why, I'm embarrassed. Perhaps I really am to blame, or rather, I'm not trying to say that I'm not to blame, but I was trying to explain myself like a fifth grader to a teacher. Okay, don't. As I said, nothing serious happened. If you think so, you should just think about how to act from now on. Not again. I covered my face with my hands, clearly showing that I have absolutely no idea what's going on there and that everything, to put it mildly, is very unpleasant for me. Could you express yourself any clearer? Thor, she said evasively. Look, I don't know what I don't know what I did is if I can't decide how to act, as you say. If you think you'll understand.
I think you'll understand.
Oh, I would like to believe that as well, but... Oh, she's huge. The canteen door suddenly flew open and Olga Dmitrievna came out.
Sitting around hungry this early?
She said playfully. Good morning, Lena said merrily. She got up and headed inside. Shall we? Yeah, sure. We were not done talking, but pioneers appeared out of nowhere and flooded the place. By the time I got my breakfast, Lena was already sitting surrounded by Miku, Zhenya, and Slavia. Sadly, there were no more free chairs at the table. Feeling down and deliberately not saying hi to anybody, I headed to my favorite place in the far corner of the canteen. I chewed my oatmeal. It was really chewy today. And washed it down with some cold tea. Then I began to watch the others. All the pioneers seemed to be here. Some were chatting, some like Electronic and Shurik were immersed in chewing, and some were gawping around like me. Right, you exist. I was just about to leave when Ulyana jumped over to my table with her tray heaped with food.
Bon appetit!
She blurted. Stealing again? I asked openly.
A growing body just requires a lot of calories.
You're one to talk. Yeah, you really should grow up a bit, I whispered.
What?
I don't think she heard me. Nothing! I hated out.
Leaving so soon?
She yelled at my back, disheartened. I gave no answer. I should have taken the washing up stuff back in. I don't want to carry it around all day. Besides, what am I going to do today? Nothing at all came to mind. Great! I was in such a mood that it seemed like something was going to show up and invite me on a journey. Huh, that was weird. 2 panels. I left the camp leader's cabin and paused for a moment, then heard a voice calling out to me. Who is the voice? Don't know. We'll have to find out next time.
Electronic.
I'm thinking maybe, yeah.
Or Shurik.
Electronic. I'm going with that. What a weird name, by the way.
Electronic.
Is it electronique? I don't know. Electronic is easier.
Electronic.
Oh, alrighty then.
Electronic. Hola. Thanks for joining us and stuff for the watching show. We're going to not do any more today because we've already done 3 of these.
In this timeline, in your timeline, we would never do that.
Yep.
That's stupid.
Yep. As far as you know, we're just 2 episodes into freaking Alisa, and we're only on day 5 or 6.
6. We're on 6.
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah,
you
yeah.
got me
So
scared.
her surprise tonight, I don't know what it's going to be. So I guess we'll see if it's boring or not.